Are we recording? I hope so. Welcome to the special Valentine's Day episode of Velvet Owl Watches Movies So You Don't Have to. I was originally thinking about doing some sort of like dumb rom-com for this. Actually, I had chosen Little Italy, because the plot was basically Romeo and Juliet, but in a pizza place. But I already watched Pizza of My Heart. Not for this podcast, just on my own. And that was bad enough, and Little Italy was just too long of a movie, so I was like, fuck that. This one's up more in my style. Cupid. It's a horror movie about Cupid. The tagline is, "It'll be a bloody Valentine this year." I guess trying to cash in on my bloody Valentine. And the description for it is, after Mean Girls Man, I am way off on my pronunciations today. Please excuse me, I'm still coming off of a cold. So, this will be fun, won't it? It's never fun. The description is, after Mean Girls humiliate her at school, a practicing witch summons evil Cupid to take revenge and turn the walls red with blood for Valentine's Day. So I'm guessing we're going to learn, the true, history of Cupid, which may or may not be true, I don't know. About probably him being, really an evil demon. And, I don't know. Why don't I just watch the movie? So you don't have to. I really wish I wouldn't. So we start with an animated retelling of the origin stories of Cupid. And I don't know how much you know of the origin story. I'm surprised actually I know nothing about it. So he was the kid of Mars and Venus. And of course, Venus is, I'm your Venus, I'm your fire, your desire. That Venus, the goddess of love. And Mars is the god of war. So war and love fucked and created Cupid. So, I was expecting that straight from there. Cupid was going to be just super angry and wanting to beat people up because his father is Mars. But no, the normal, he's the god of love and he shoots his arrows to make people fall in love. But then one day he falls in love with Psyche, which I never heard of the god Psyche. And I don't know how it translates to the modern use of the word Psyche. But Venus was very jealous because Psyche was super beautiful and she was just an old hag at this point. So she made a deal that Psyche, in order to win the hand of Cupid, had to get 3 gifts. And Venus was thinking ha ha ha, because this is very impossible tasks and there's no way she'll solve them and get the gifts. But she does. We don't learn what the tasks and the gifts were, because that's not important to the story. Because Psyche was so worn out that before she could reach the steps of Venus's home to give the gifts, she collapsed. And Cupid was like, oh no, I will save her with the arrow, the tip of my arrow. But what Cupid didn't know was that his mother, fucking psycho hag that she is, I apologize, that is very offensive for me to call her a hag. But she is psycho, and she had dipped Cupid's arrows in poison, and that was the final death blow that killed Psyche. Which, was just the one arrow dipped in poison, or were all his arrows dipped in poison, and a lot of people that were supposed to fall in love just got killed? This was a risky plan, because, yeah, he could have accidentally killed other people before he went to save Psyche and was like, whoa, hold on, there's something fucked with my arrows. But Psyche's dead and Cupid's all pissed off and he's decided no one can ever have love. And so he goes around and, I don't know, they don't make it explicit, but I think he kills people for revenge. And then he gets sent to Hades and he's stuck there unless someone summons him out to kill people in the name of love. Now, we're starting off, well, we already start off, but after the animation part, we're starting off, it's a date between a douchebag and a... I'm going to call her annoying just because she has a very squeaky voice. And I know that's unfair, but she doesn't last very long in this film, so who cares? And he's all humble bragging about how successful he is, and she realizes, wow, this is a complete douchebag date. So she excuses herself to the bathroom, where she calls her friend and she's like, I can't see myself being face deep in his crotch all night. And that is an actual quote. That is not me making shit up. She says she cannot be face deep in his crotch all night. So, I don't know. I guess this girl... I don't know if that means she has great oral skills or she has really bad ones and it's going to take them all night to come from her giving him head. I don't know. This is, yeah. I've got nowhere to go with that. But she decides she's going to escape through the bathroom window. Meanwhile, douchebag's daughter shows up. And at first I thought it was his ex. And because she looks to be about the same age. And even if she was young, he's a successful douchebag, so you could always be like, yeah, he goes for younger women. But no, she does seem to be about the same age as him. So, and she's all like, what's the word? Terrified. Because she summoned the demon god. Well, she calls him a god, because she summoned Cupid, because she was mad. And her dad's all like, you're just fucking crazy. And he pulls her and drags her outside. And there is the squeaky voiced girl trying to escape. And she's got to come up with an excuse like, oh, no, I wasn't trying to escape. I just went out for a walk. You didn't see me leave the restaurant and to go outside. I just needed some fresh air. And then, wham! An arrow in her eye. Because Cupid shot an arrow in the air. Where it landed, he knows not where. Is that how it goes? I don't think that poem's about Cupid either. But, yeah, an arrow flies, and the arrow shoots her in the eye! I like when arrows shoot people in the eye. In movies, not in real life. So Cupid... I should edit that out now that I have editing software. But, I'm not going to. Because that would require me to actually listen through this whole thing to find the spots to edit out. And yeah, I'm not going to do that. So Cupid comes flying down. And the daughter grabs her douchebag dad and says, we got to get out of here. And they go running through a field and into the forest. But it's just not far enough. Not fast enough. Because here comes Cupid. And he shoots an arrow into the dad's thigh. Which causes him to fall down. With the piece of arrow sticking up. Very important, because Cupid then grabs the daughter's head and slams it onto that piece of arrow right through the eye. I think. We don't get a very good close-up, I assume, through the eye. And which is super awesome, except for the fact that they really fucking dragged it out. It took, about a minute of struggling before he got her head, shoved onto that arrow. Which, I don't know, I guess they're trying to build suspense, but it's dude, we know that she's getting impaled on that arrow. Just give it to us right now. Stop fucking padding your runtime. Just give us what we want. Gore. We know she's getting impaled. Do it already. And then he reaches into Dad's heart, into his chest, and pulls his heart out. And they're dead. Now it's 2 days until Valentine's Day. I don't know how much farther past since the previous scene we are. Is this years later? Is it days later? Hours later? I don't know, but this girl, I'm guessing she's the witch from the description. So I'll call her Goth Girl. I'll go Wiccan Girl. Because she has witch powers. And I know that's not exactly entirely the same, but go with me. I don't like to put too much thought into names, because I'm not going to remember her real name. She's fucking Wiccan Girl. Why am I explaining this? If you've listened to me before, I just go with stupid things anyhow. And she's summoning Cupid, and she's seen a picture of a mandingo. Yeah, I'm gonna be fucking racist. I don't know if this black guy has a huge bull cock, but I'm gonna assume he is, and that's why she's in love with him. And I thought it was maybe like her ex-boyfriend that broke up with her or something, but it's a teacher. It's a teacher at school. So I'm hoping that he hasn't been trying to fuck her, and this is just she's madly in love with him, so she's gonna summon an evil demon to kill people for him and his bull cock. But Mr. Mandingo, he's trying to mack it to one of the other teachers, and they're all British, so I guess we're in a British school now. The previous scenes were all American, so now we got the Brits. So, and I thought, like, okay, maybe just, he's a British guy living in America. But the other teacher he's trying to mack it on, she's British. And then a third teacher comes in to interrupt, and she's also British. And she tells him, like, one of your students has gum in her hair, so you gotta go take care of it. I don't know, is that really the purveyance? Is that a word? Is that something teachers do? For fucking high school teenagers. I can understand if, you're teaching like 4th grade and one of your students gets gum cut in their hair. Like, yeah, you gotta take care of this. Fucking teens. Let them take care of it themselves. So it's the... Sorry. Like I said, cold. So it's the Wiccan girl who's the one that had gum stuck in her hair. And her name is Faye. Appropriate. She thinks she's one of the fairy, probably. She thinks she's a fae. I don't know. I don't know if that much thought was put into naming her. But I'm sticking with Wiccan girl. And her friend, guy friend, who's obviously gay, is helping her. In the women's locker room, in the bathroom portion. And Mr. Mandingo comes in. Which, Wiccan girl is in the girls' locker room. In the bathroom portion, they couldn't send one of the fucking female teachers? Do you not see how inappropriate it is? What if there was another girl there pooping or something? And you sent Mr. Mandingo to comfort her. And he just comforts her. He doesn't even get the gum out of her hair. What the fuck? Why didn't you just send one of the female teachers to take care of this? It's so fucking inappropriate. And the bitchy girl that put the gum in her hair, she walks by, and it's so inappropriate. Do they not realize that? Let me take a moment to apologize. I started recording this like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and things have kind of got caught up. And so there was a blizzard here, and so just all sorts of shit got fucked up, so I didn't get a chance to get back to recording this. So I've forgotten all the nicknames I've come up with so far for everyone. So apologies, because you might get confused, because I'm probably going to come up with new nicknames for the characters that we've already met, like Professor Stud. He's Professor Stud now. He is the teacher that I'm guessing the girl who I really wish did I call her Goth Girl? She's Goth Girl now. Or Fake Witch. Fake Witch Goth Girl. Sure, we'll go with that. But so Professor Stud, he tells the mean girl, oh, stop picking on her, or you're not going to the dance. Mwahaha. But mean girl, because she caught him, or didn't catch him, but saw him in the girl's bathroom talking to Goth Girl. She's like, you were in the girl's bathroom. I could always tell them that you went in there while I was naked, and that would get you fired. Oh no, you better back off, Professor Stud, because already you're a fucking stud, you're studly, so of course, and I'm pretty sure the school board is probably going to be racist towards you, being a black man, so they're going to be like, well, obviously, a black man who went into the girl's bathroom to try to bang our white women, he is gone, he is being lynched. Hey, don't judge me. I'm not the one saying that he should be lynched. Fucking racist school board that
doesn't exist yet. Now, Professor Stud, he's teaching Romeo and Juliet, because he's an English teacher, and every English teacher has to teach Romeo and Juliet, even though, I'm going to come out and say it's a shitty play. But no, because it's Shakespeare. Like, oh, we all got to learn about it and the great English works of Shakespeare. But, no, seriously, Romeo and Juliet, like, you've probably seen a meme about it, that, they met and, like, 3 days later, they're killing themselves because they're in love. Like, yeah, it's not a fucking romance. It's just puppy love. Anyhow, it seems like Professor Stud is making eyes at Goth Girl, and she's all excited, like, oh boy, her spell is working! Oh, she's excited, so excited that at lunchtime she has to tell her gay best friend, who apparently isn't gay. That's on me for making the assumption that he's the gay best friend, but I'm gonna call him the gay best friend, because he's acting like the gay best friend. But I guess he's the friend-zoned gay best friend. Because he tells her, like, oh, like, well, yeah, everyone loves him. Like, even I would go gay for him. But you should date a student. Which I wholeheartedly agree. This is the problem with teenage girls. They fall in love with their teachers, and they don't really stop to think of how that is going to fuck up their teachers' lives. Because even if the teacher wants nothing to do with the student, because, they know that it's fucking illegal. Although if this is England, what? Age of consent is 16, which is kind of scuzzy still. Like, ugh. I mean, if you're 18, like, okay, you know what, I'll allow it, because legally you can bang a 16-year-old. That's not so bad. You're a fucking teacher. You should not be banging 16-year-olds. Just my personal opinion, whichever side of the pond you're on. So, but, gay best friend is like, you should date a student. And she's like, but I don't know. What student could I possibly date? Right there. Because your gay best friend has been friend-zoned, you don't notice that he wants to fuck you. But, I don't know. I mean, if he's friend-zoned, then doesn't that mean he's really, like, an asshole that thinks he's, like, a nice guy and just can't deal with the fact that, he's an asshole and not a nice guy? But anyhow, the mean girl, she notices that that Professor Stud has left his phone on the desk, so she steals it. And she's going to use it to call up the goth girl. Because, oh boy, that's going to look bad if Professor Stud has a record of calling one of his students. Oh boy. So Goth Girl gets home to find her mom fucking a random guy in the living room. Which, I can understand her upset over finding her mom fucking a guy in the living room. It'd be one thing if she was in her bedroom fucking a guy in the privacy, like, because I guess mom didn't realize that, her daughter would be home so soon. But still, in the fucking living room. Have some tact. You do it while, the kids are away on vacation or something. That's when you fuck in the living room. But if your kid's coming home from school at some point that day, you don't fuck in the living room. And Goth Girl is mad because it's not that. And, she feels that mom has moved on too soon after dad passed away. Which, I don't know. How soon is it? Like, we all grieve at different rates. And personally, I think, as long as you're not fucking on the casket, then there is no such thing as too soon to move on. At least to fuck someone else. Maybe for, like, an actual relationship, like a serious relationship, maybe you need some time to process and grieve. But just to fuck someone else, to kind of get, like, that out, just, I don't know, give it a couple hours after the body's buried. That's my opinion. So, I don't know how soon afterwards, but I imagine enough time has passed for her mom to just start fucking again. But to add insult to injury, the guy she's fucking is the dad of the mean girl. And so I think that is really what's more painful than you're fucking someone else so soon after dad died. Which, how long? I don't know. She says it's the first Valentine since dad died. So it has been under a year. That much we know. But get over it, girl. Mom wants to fuck. And mom should be allowed to fuck. As long as the person she's fucking is over 18. Those are the rules. If your spouse dies 2 hours after they're buried, as long as the other person's 18, go for it. Go fuck. So while Goth Girl's in her room crying and brooding because she's all goth and shit, she gets a text from Professor Stud. But remember, it's not really Professor Stud. It's Mean Girl because she stole Professor Stud's phone and she's texting her and making all this stuff like, oh, I feel a connection with you. Come meet me after class tomorrow and go ahead and make a move. And send me a sexy picture. Which Goth Girl sends him a sexy picture. Kind of. She has no shirt on. She's got just her bra. Which, for me, is enough. That's sexy enough, but I don't know. She doesn't pull off sexy face very well, but if we're being realistic, very few people can pull off sexy face very well in a selfie. I'm one of them, but very few other people can. And so, I am hoping that Professor Stud has reported his phone missing. Because at least, if he reported to someone, like, hey, my phone is missing, at, 3 hours before these texts were sent, you might have a little bit of leeway, or at least help your case in saying, I did not text her and tell her to send me sexy photos. It's not me. But, you don't report your phone missing like, oh, suddenly you're caught with these photos and your phone went missing? Likely story. So, for your sake, Professor Stud, I hope that you have told someone that your phone is stolen and you got the timestamp. Which, that's a good rule of thumb, I think. If you're a teacher, especially if you're a sexy teacher, and you can't find your phone, make sure to let 2 other personnel know, hey, my phone is missing. Let's mark down the time and date that I'm reporting to you my phone is missing. I swear, they're not going to find that suspicious at all. Like, oh, this is clearly just you being thorough and not in any way sort of trying to set up an alibi. So really, I guess my plan is just going to make you fucking look even guiltier. The next day at class, there's a fucking train. Can you hear the train? I don't know why I'm trying to make train noises back at the train. I don't know, isn't that what you do? Like, if you come across, like, a wild animal, you're supposed to make wild animal noises back at them so that they see you as a threat and leave. I think that's what you do with trains as well. Make yourself look bigger and do, like, choo-choo! And the train will leave. Oh, don't believe me? You go try it next time. I'll be here. I'll sit here and wait, and you tell me how it goes. So the next day at the school, Professor Stud has a rose for the blonde teacher that he's macking it with. And she's all like, what? You've been ignoring my texts. And he says, well, my phone is missing, and a new one is on the way. So, good on you, Professor Stud. You listen to my advice. Even better than, telling your colleagues, which does kind of sound like you're setting up an alibi. You contacted the phone place so that they can send you a new phone. So it's not a 100% proof alibi by any means, but it has been established that during this time frame, your phone has been missing. During the time frame that these sexy photos were requested and sent. So I think it'll help your case a little bit. Meanwhile, the mean girl, left a note in Goth Girl's locker, supposedly from Professor Stud, saying to, come meet me or something. I forget exactly what it says. But gay best friend, friend-zoned friend, he comes, he's like, you don't have a date for the dance, and I don't have a date for a dance, so why don't we just, go to the dance together? Just to go to the dance, friends, nothing serious or anything. Just a smooth move. It's what I did in high school, too. Just the old, you've got no one, I've got no one. Hey, let's go to the dance together. And just like me in high school, it does not work for him. And she says no. Because remember, she's still in love with Professor Stud and thinks that Professor Stud loves her. It's after school now, and Goth Girl decides, she's got to make her move, because that's what the text said, that Professor Stud wants her to make a move. So she goes to his room while he's grading papers. Good thing that, Mean Girl knew that Professor Stud would actually be grading papers in his classroom after class. Which, isn't really that much of a jump, because that's generally what teachers do. And so she makes the move. She kisses Professor Stud. And he's like, whoa, 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 highly inappropriate. Meanwhile, Mean Girl and all her friends, they're watching through the window with their cameras and like, ha 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 ha! This is funny! And so, Goth Girl runs off, embarrassed. I don't think she knows that Mean Girl and her friends watched. So Mean Girl and her friends, they are in the auditorium while getting ready for the big dance, because I guess they're the committee to put the dance together. But they're laughing because they're going to upload that sexy, sexy photo of Goth Girl up to the interwebs, I guess. But Blondie, teacher Blondie, she comes in, she's very suspicious. Why are you laughing? Because when teen girls laugh, they're always up to something. But, then just fucking insolence and surliness from the mean girl onto the teacher and just being all bitchy. And the teacher just kind of lets it go well, I haven't caught you on anything. She fucking gave you attitude, Blondie! I say that's recourse for, canceling the dance or doing something. Talking to her parents. Now, Professor Stud is talking to Blondie. The blonde teacher he was trying to mack it with, who is different from the blonde teacher we just saw. I'm guessing because she's wearing different clothes. Call me racist, but I think all blonde white girls look alike. And, you know what? I'm owning it. That is racist on my part. And Professor Stud's telling her what had just happened, and Blondie, hookup Blondie, is all well, you gotta tell the principal, because if people find out, you're gonna be in deep shit. Yeah. Establish your alibi, dude! You gotta get ahead of these things. You don't want to be like Bill Clinton and, try to pretend it didn't happen, and then you're just caught in, a whole web of lies, and you then have to explain what the definition of is. And that is fantastic. How timely of a reference that is. Do people get that anymore? Depends on... I don't even remember how exactly the line is, but the point of it is what it is. Wait, what is. Depends on what your definition of is. That's just a fun thing to say. So, I don't care. I'm keeping it. I don't care if it's fallen out of pop culture, along with Don't Tase Me, Bro. That is fucking... I'm sticking with it. I am still running with it. And so... what just happened after that? But anyways, Professor Stud, he's all yeah, I'm not going to do it because it will embarrass her. It was just, whatever. We're just going to move on. Sure thing, dude. It'll be that easy. So Goth Girl goes home and she's all upset and angry. So she's going through her book of spells and she sees the spell to unleash Cupid. Oh no. Is she gonna unleash Cupid? This will not be good. I assume she unleashes Cupid. We don't see her actually do the spell, but I'm assuming she does. Because otherwise there really wouldn't be much of a movie. So the next day, and it's Valentine's Day, and Professor Stud is still teaching Romeo and Juliet, because, you know, it's a fucking hormonal teen pregnancy. No, there's no teen pregnancy in it. But, you know, fuck you! It's not a romantic story! Maybe when you're in high school, you're like, wow, how romantic! He was willing to kill himself for the woman he loves. That he's known like a few days. And before that, I'm not saying, you know, there's no love at first sight and all that, but remember, he was like pining over Rosalind and all mopey and like, I shall never love again. And then, oh, hey, there's this other hot chick. My penis says I'm in love again. And basically that is the plot of Romeo and Juliet, isn't it? Just, whoa, Rosalind is gone. I shall never love again. Oh, hey, Juliet, my penis says I'm in love again. Oh, no, you're dead. And my penis is saying, kill yourself. You know, that was the problem, is Romeo listened to his penis too much. But anyhow, because it's Valentine's Day, and one of the mean girl's friends comes in because she's delivering the Valentines. She's delivering Valentine cards because, I don't know, that... Why is that a thing they do in high school? Because I remember that they did that in my school too, but it was roses. Not Valentine's Day card, because you could buy a rose for someone, you know, your secret crush, and it would get handed out. But that's just fucking embarrassing for the people who don't get a Valentine's Day card. Like, dude, you're unlovable. Wink, wink, gay best friend. Yeah, he didn't get a Valentine's Day card. But there was one for Goth Girl. It's unsigned, but asked her to go to the dance. Which, I mean, if it's a sincere, like, asking you to go to the dance, then you gotta sign it, dude. Because how is she going to know? And she's just going to show up to the dance. And you got to plan this thing out. Because then you go to the dance and she decided, no, she's not going to the dance. And now you just feel like an asshole being there at the dance by yourself. But I'm guessing it wasn't from gay best friend, though. Because he seemed kind of surprised about it, too. Meanwhile, while, you know, the Valentine's Day card are being, like, handed out, the girl... she walks over to the computer and unplugs something, and it looks like she slipped in a hard drive. So I'm guessing that hard drive contains that sexy photo of the Goth Girl, and they're gonna project it for everyone to see. So Professor Stud goes to start the movie, but oh no, it's not the movie. It's the video of Goth Girl trying to make a move on Professor Stud, and everyone laughs like ha 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 ha. And so Goth Girl runs out crying, and she goes and sees plastered all over the walls is pictures of her. The sexy picture, just printed up thousands of times and plastered all over the wall. And apparently no teacher in between... Wait, how did they get all those pictures up without any teacher, like, walking by and going, like, whoa, hold on. You can't put that up on the wall. Somehow they managed, and this sends Goth Girl, like, into a tizzy, and she punches Mean Girl and runs off, and Mean Girl's all like, you can't do that to me, I'm gonna sue the school, my dad's a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, fuck you, bitch. So I'm pretty sure, like, you know, okay, Goth Girl threw the first punch, but, you know, they investigate this a little bit, like, hey, well, actually, I guess she probably covered her tracks really good, because if they do investigate, like, oh, this picture was on Professor Stud's phone. Why is it on your phone, Professor Stud? So anyhow, Goth Girl runs into the bathroom with her candles, and she recites the chant, or not the chant, the spell, to summon Cupid. And she tells Cupid, or I don't know if it's Cupid or just some random demon, that she wants the end of love for all who have wronged her. Now, the mean girl is talking to the principal, and he's a complete hard ass. Like, he knows it was her. Like, he's not even letting her, like, try to give an explanation or deny it. He's like, fuck you, the dance is canceled, you and your friends gotta take the decorations down, and then you gotta refund everyone's money who bought tickets. He takes no shit. Good for you, principal. Good for you. Now, one of the mean girl's friends goes to the bathroom because she has to poop or something. And, you know, girls do poop. So, she's there by herself, and the lights turn green. Like, it's all tinted green. Because you know something's about to happen. Cupid is in there, and he shoots an arrow into her ear. In her ear! She's gonna be deaf now. And then, seriously, deaf in the ear. I'm just bringing that up because I'm trying to stall for time as I remember what else he did. Oh, this was actually pretty fucking cool, though. He grabbed a heart-shaped cookie cutter and just used it to take out chunks of her flesh, leaving, like, giant, like, heart-shaped marks on her back. That was pretty fucking cool. I don't know if I've seen a horror movie villain use a cookie cutter before. I'm sure it has been done, but I can't think of anyone I've seen do it before. So bravo, Cupid. Bravo. If I ever become a serial killer. And note to any law enforcement that may be listening to this, I am absolutely not planning on becoming a serial killer. But if I did, I'd be the cookie cutter killer. And I'd use cookie cutters to just carve pieces out of people's flesh. But I'm not actually going to do that. And law enforcement, if there ever ends up being a serial killer that does use a cookie cutter, it wasn't me. I swear, it wasn't me. Now, since Goth Girl did deck a student, she gets detention too. Which means she also is going to have to help take down the decorations. Oh boy. You know, with the mean girl and her friends. It's not going to be a pretty sight. But luckily her gay best friend, that's not gay, but is friend-zoned, has decided to, you know, help her. He's just volunteered. Because, you know, he is still trying to get into her pants. So, you know, he's trying to earn some brownie points there. And there's a plate of cookies, kind of. Some heart-shaped cookies. That are very weirdly colored. Kind of reddish white. Almost flesh-colored. Huh. Because, you know, the other girl did have pieces of her flesh cut out in heart shapes. And even though no one knows where these cookies come from, the mean girl and her friends, they're like, we'll eat it. Even though, like, they're just kind of floppy. Like, they don't seem to have the consistency of a cookie. But then, let's eat it. It tastes weird. Kind of like chicken. Yeah, there's nothing weird about that at all. Like a chicken tasting, floppy, rubbery, skin-like cookie. Sure, we'll go with that. But unfortunately, Mean Girl is a complete bitch, and she's like, fuck you, I don't have to do what you tell me. And her boyfriend calls, he's gonna come pick her up, and so she just storms out of there. And Blondie, the teacher... Oh, actually, because I do want to mention this, because this perplexed me. Because Professor Stud's there, and he's like, I'm going to go, and I'm going to finish grading grading the papers so that summer can start. Yes, he said so summer can start. I don't know if things are different over in England or Australia, because Blondie teacher kind of sounds Australian. I don't know, I'm not good with my accents. Professor Stud sounds British, Blondie teacher sounds Australian, and the principal sounds American. So I don't know where the fuck they are. But apparently, it goes from Valentine's Day to summer. What? Okay. You know what? With everything else that goes on in this movie, I'm just gonna let that one slide. But anyways, Mean Girl, she storms off. So Blondie teacher, she runs over to tell the principal. And she's got like this super mischievous smile. Like, oh boy, you're gonna get it now because principal's after you. Which, I mean, he is a take no shit principal. And he's yelling at her. And she gets into the car with her boyfriend. Mean Girl, that is, not Blondie teacher. And the principal just stands right in front of there. Just kind of right in front of the car, like threatening, just daring them to, run him over. And they would too, except boyfriend's car won't start. Classic horror movie trope, like the car's flooded, he can't get it to start. How's he gonna run over and kill the principal? That's okay, because here comes Cupid and shoots his arrow through the principal. Bye-bye, principal. You're dead. And this one hurts me. I am sad about this because principal, yeah, he's a hard ass, but his heart is in the right place. He is trying to make sure these kids have the proper discipline so that they can grow up to be proper, hardworking, productive members of society. And then he shoots an arrow through the boyfriend. The boyfriend I don't think is dead yet. And so Mean Girl and the boyfriend run into the school, and another arrow gets shot into the boyfriend. He's still alive, but how long can he continue to live with 2 arrows in him? So they go inside, and they take the boyfriend to the nurse's station, which is just covered in fucking the green tint. Fucking green lighting. And, his wounds are fucking, like, necrotizing, and you can see, like, the poison going all through him. And is that, like, something real? Like, when you get poisoned into the bloodstream, do your veins just kind of pop out and turn, like, super black so that you can follow the poison and the route of the poison? I don't know. Someone tell me. I could Google it, but I'm not going to. And I'll probably forget that I ever asked this question. So, and Mean Girl's trying to tell everyone, like, it was a thing flying from the sky that shot arrows. And, of course, no one believes her. Like, what kind of fucking thing? You're in shock, because what the fuck? Someone flying through the sky shooting arrows? But Goth Girl, she's like, uh-oh. Because, yeah, I think she knows. Sounds like Cupid. Oops. I unleashed that. And, gay best friend that's not gay but is friend-zoned. He's like, tell me, you know something. What's going on? And she's like, I know nothing. I know nothing. It wasn't me. I did not unleash a demonic Cupid that is now going to kill everyone. The boyfriend dies from the poison racing to his heart. And the rest of the kids are sent off with some other teacher. I don't know who she is, but she's tasked with protecting them, so she takes them to the auditorium where all the decorations still are, but they can sense there's something in there with them, and it is Cupid. And they all scream and run, and Cupid chases them down the hall. The teacher is the slowest one, of course, because she's the oldest, and he hits her with a bunch of arrows, and not enough to kill her. So while she's down on the ground, he takes one of the arrows out of her body and stabs her repeatedly with it to make sure she's dead. He does not take out his heart-shaped cookie cutter, though, and that kind of disappointed me. I mean, I don't know, as a running gag, would it grow tired? I don't know, but I wanted more of it. I want, like, some more flesh cookies. That would have been cool. And gay best friend who isn't gay but is friend-zoned. That is like a really long name for someone. But if I ever make a movie, that is a character name. Gay best friend who's not really gay but is friend-zoned. He gets hit with an arrow. And, it's not enough to kill him yet because they can still run and he's still running with the rest of them. But I mean, the boyfriend dude, he got hit with an arrow, and it spread poison all through him. Poison to his heart, which I would sing, because I'm pretty sure there's like 15 songs that have some sort of line, poison to the heart. But I can't think of any, so I will spare you the singing. Now, they split up because splitting up is the best thing you can do when you're being chased by a killer. I've watched dozens and hundreds of horror movies, and yeah, splitting up always works fine for them, like 5% of the time. So, Goth Girl and the gay best friend who's not... Yeah. We'll just shorten it to gay best friend. They run into a bathroom, and she's trying to figure out some way to, heal the wound. My guess, chop off the arm. Seems a bit extreme, but that is often what happens. If the poison is too far gone, you want to chop the arm off before it can spread to vital organs and kill you. It also works with zombies, because zombies are a virus. Mean Girl, she runs into some room, but she finds the book of spells, that's open up to the page of the love monster. And I think she's gonna put 2 and 2 together and get 22. The wheels are turning in her mind, and she's gonna realize that the Goth Girl is responsible for all this shit. Which she is. And then Mean Girl's other friend, chubby friend, which would mean anything if I ever brought that up before, but she's cute. I out of the Mean Girl and her posse, I'd say she's the cutest. And she's chubby. I'm a chubby chaser, I guess. But she runs into the dressing room, and Cupid has chosen her. Probably because she's the slowest, being chubby and all. And he kills her by shoving a bouquet of roses. Bouquet of roses into her throat and just shoving it down as far as he can. Which, I guess a little more, effort put in than, just stabbing the other woman with a arrow. But still, not to the level of the heart-shaped cookie cutters. I want some more flesh cookies. Just, there's no end to that. You should have at least, somehow turn her into roses. Come on, Cupid! Just be more creative. Now, since the gay best friend is convinced he's gonna die, which is a very good possibility, he decides he's gonna profess his love for Goth Girl. And she just never realized it. And one day he would have sleepovers. She didn't realize that when he was spooning her, that it was him trying to get close to her. Which, I could understand. Just kind of sweet. And he claimed that, he thought he was with his mom. And that's not so sweet, in my opinion. That's kind of just a little disturbing that he would be spooning his mom. And I'm gonna go out and say it. He probably also had an erection while he was spooning Goth Girl. And somehow she missed that as well. So, then they're looking around, and they find the body of that girl. The one that had the flesh cookies cut out of her. And they see, the pieces of flesh cut out, and the cookie cutter. And it's like, oh no. The cookies that people ate, they were people! People, damn you! Soylent Green. Soylent Green cookies. Which, I don't understand what the problem with Soylent Green was. Maybe they should have just admitted that they were being made out of people. But they made it out of people that were willingly euthanizing. They wanted to be euthanized. And used those people to make the Soylent Green. So where's the problem? I could see if they were kidnapping homeless people or something, which before I saw the movie, that's what I thought was going on, that they kidnapped homeless people and turned them into food. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's borderline, like, yeah, that's not right. But if it's people willing to die, why not turn them into food? But, they're all grossed out, like, ah! And then they hear footsteps. Something's coming. Oh no, jump scare! Because it's not Cupid. It's Professor Stud and Blondie teacher. And they see the stab wound, and they're like, we gotta get him to the hospital, or the medical unit, or the something or other, because he's gonna die if we don't take care of it. And, judging on their success with the last guy, yeah, gay best friend's gonna die. Now, they reach the room where Mean Girl and her gay best friend, which I forgot to mention that she has a gay best friend, too. Who I think actually is gay and not just like a friend-zoned guy that seems kind of gay. And she's been reading the spell book, and she's on to Goth Girl. And she knows that Goth Girl unleashed Cupid and has now killed her boyfriend. And killed other people. But Mean Girl, she's not going to stand for this. She's not going to stay hiding. She is going down fighting. She's got to find her friends. Because she doesn't know that her other two friends are dead now. But she's got to find them. Because, at least, she has some honor. She's going to save her friends. She's going to do all she can do. And so she leaves with the gay best friend. And they're going to do something, I guess. I don't know what their plan is, and I don't think they actually have a plan. So they take gay best friend to the nurse's station and put his arm inside a vice. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe it's not the nurse's station. I think it's shop class. Because they put his arm in a vice, and they've got a hacksaw. But don't you need a bone saw to cut someone's arm off? I am not sure. I don't know if a hacksaw... Can a hacksaw cut through bone? I don't know. This is going to bug me. But Professor Stud is going to do it, because before he became an English teacher, he was going to study to be a doctor. And then he dropped out because he didn't want to study. So I don't know if he's going to be the best medical... Well, out of the current options, he's the best medical choice. And really, if you think about it, 50% of all doctors graduated in the bottom half of their class. So, take the chance, I guess. Meanwhile, Mean Girl and her gay best friend are running because Cupid has come, and he's got Valentine's Day card that are razor sharp, and he throws them like ninja stars that stab the gay best friend in the back. And as he falls to the floor, Mean Girl's like, sorry, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I'm not gonna die. Fight or flight, and I've chosen flight. And then Cupid comes and takes one of the Valentine's Day card and slits the guy's throat. Which, kudos to at least keeping to the Valentine's Day theme. Being killed by heart-shaped cookie cutters and Valentine's Day cards and roses. I like it. I like those more than like the couple of kills he's done with just the arrows. Like, anyone could kill with arrows. Fucking Hawkeye kills people with arrows. Or he would if, the Marvel Universe was a little bit darker. So they slice gay best friend's hand off, or his arm off, actually. And blood squirting everywhere, and Goth Girl is making him a promise that if he gets through it, they'll go on a date. Which is the way to, get people to believe, to get a guy to hold on, to fight for his life, is to promise him some pussy. She didn't promise him pussy, just a date. But you never know where it's going to lead. They could fuck at the end of it. But, I don't know. Okay, they got the arm off, but are they going to cauterize the wound? Like, that's just basic 101 survivalist, isn't it? At the very least, come on, you saw that episode of Walking Dead, where he fucking heated the metal to cauterize his own wound and poured it with whiskey as an antiseptic to kill any bacteria, and then drink the whiskey to get so fucking drunk you don't feel the pain. It's simple. And okay, they're not gonna have alcohol at the school. That's okay. Not necessary. Because they have to have, like, rubbing alcohol, right? From the nurse's station. And, use a lighter and heat up some piece of metal to cauterize the wound. And then Professor Stud is going off to go somewhere. I'm not sure where he's going, but he says that he'll be back. And as we all know, I'll be back means you're gonna die unless you're the Terminator. Terminator is the only person who can say, I'll be back and live. And granted, he's a robot, so, he can't really die. But he can die. He can. Sort of. He does sort of die. But not after he says, I'll be back. When he says, I'll be back, he really fucking came back and killed the other person. So, unless you're a Terminator, don't say, I'll be back. Mean Girl, she's running all the way through all the halls, which... considering she said she was going to go down fighting, she is very focused on the flight plan. Fight or flight, and she chooses flight. That is not going down fighting. That is going down flighting. And so, as always when it gets to the end of these movies, I kind of just start spacing out and I don't really know what's going on. Somehow they end up back in the auditorium and... Goth Girl gives another spell that brings the demon back. And, it's almost the end of Valentine's Day, which would send Cupid back. I don't know. Is that part of the plan? So is it that it only works for 24 hours? Or is it can only work on Valentine's Day? So if she had, done the spell, 2 weeks prior, nothing would have happened. Who knows? I'm not going to think too far into it. Anyways, the demon, he says, it can be all over, but he demands a sacrifice. And so I wasn't paying attention if whether or not he chose to sacrifice or the kids themselves had to choose a sacrifice, but he kills Mean Girl, as well as he should. And that's it. They're gone. And everyone's happy except, oh! Another jump scare. Because it looked like Mean Girl was back to life, but Goth Girl, decks her with her book. And so, Blondie teacher is taking gay best friend to the hospital, hurrying before, gangrene kicks in. I think they can make it. I think they'll make it. And it just leaves Goth Girl and Professor Stud. And Professor Stud kisses Goth Girl. Oh no, they realize the love spell worked. Apparently, it just takes a few days to kick in. Cupid spell, almost instantaneously. Falling in love spell, that takes some time. I guess it's more complicated. And that is the end of the film. And... my God, I wasted your Valentine's Day, didn't I? I hope if you're listening to this that you're single. Because, not that I want to torture you by making you single, but if you had a date and you chose to listen to this podcast instead, my God, your partner is going to be very pissed off at you. Rightfully so. But, as always, leave a comment. And if you can't leave a comment, email me at velvetal@hotmail.com. And do something. And I don't know. I just hope that you come and listen again. And as always, feel free to offer up suggestions of something for me to watch. And if I haven't watched it before, I will watch it for you. So you don't have to. Peace out. And I want to thank the Living Brain Dead for providing the official theme song for Velvet Owl Watches Movies So You Don't Have To. It's called Never Fuck With Catgirls, and you can get it at livingbraindead.com, which you should totally do. They are not paying me for this, so I shield them out of my love for the music.